Hi guys, I'm Marina Blackford. Welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm a breast cancer survivor, I'm a Boston Marathon runner, and I'm a mom to a soon-to-be 2-year-old and another on the way. I wanted to start this channel to spread positivity and to share my experience through these life-changing events and show you tips on how I not only survived but have thrived through these things. So this video means so much to me today. This is the 5-year anniversary of when I was first diagnosed with breast cancer in 2015. So today's video, I want to share with you my chemo hacks on tips that are tangible to help you physically feel better while you're going through chemotherapy. I will have other videos that talk about mindset and positivity, also give maybe some tips on things that helped me, again, just not survive, but thrive through this all. So without further ado, let's begin on the chemo hacks. Number 1, I want you to consider changing your diet. If you already have an amazing diet, awesome. If you feel like your diet could be better, now is the time to really look at it. Some very basic things that I did without any research was to just consider going low meat and low dairy and low processed foods. These are things that are known to cause inflammation in the body, and I just wanted to give myself the best odds of feeling good during a time that I knew was going to be hard to feel good. So I strongly urge you to look at your diet and consider making some changes. What I did was I focused on eating well. So what's eating well? Vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and really minimizing processed foods, meaning fast foods, meaning anything with probably 5 or more ingredients. If you don't know a lot about what to look for in ingredients, I highly recommend following somebody on YouTube that does. I recommend somebody like Flav City, Bobby Parrish, who will teach you how to look for ingredients in your food. That's a side note. Again, just focus on really eating healthy. It's going to help you feel better during a time that you're going to need it. My second point is to also eat small meals before you go to your chemo session. So in my case, I had 16 sessions of chemo. Most of my chemos were in the morning time, maybe like 8 or 9 a.m. So I made sure to eat a small breakfast before going in. My breakfast usually consisted of something like an egg, maybe with some spinach in it, and a whole grain waffle with some almond butter on it. Just getting something in my stomach was gonna help to not have it hit so hard, because chemo is very hard on your body and you're not gonna feel good, and it's gonna feel like taking a shot of tequila on an empty stomach, and you just don't want that. So I highly recommend getting something in your stomach before you go. That brings me to my third point, which is to drink something that will also help with nausea before going to chemo. In my case, drink ginger tea, or look for a nausea blend tea. Sometimes they're blended with peppermint and ginger, and you can find it labeled that. But honestly, just ginger tea itself is known to help prevent against nausea. I will share a link below this video of some of the items that you can find on Amazon and have them at your front door. All right, tip number 4 is to hydrate a lot during chemo. This was a tip that was passed on to me by another survivor, somebody that was just going through it, and it just resonated with me, and so I made it a priority. When I'd go into chemo and I'd sit in that chair, I would make sure to have a bottle of water next to me or ask one of the volunteers that come around for water. Specifically water. You just want water to keep your body hydrated so that it's not... In my case, I just thought of it as the chemo wasn't hard hitting into my veins, like it had a water buffer. Anyways, I think it helped process it, it helped me feel better, and it helped me from staying so bloated, which seems counter, but I really think it did. So please do that. Number 5 is to snack during your chemo session. Again, this is also maybe something that you could or could not do. I just think it helped to not hit my body so hard. My favorite kinds of snacks were dried fruit, so something like dried mango or apricots I would take with. something I could pick up, even freeze-dried fruits, something I would find at like Trader Joe's or something. I do recommend it, so just consider that. Number 6 is to consider doing acupuncture during your chemo session. Now, when I told people I was doing acupuncture during my chemo to help, everybody was like, oh my gosh, is that something you've done before? No, I had never done acupuncture before being diagnosed with cancer, but I was willing to try anything to help me feel better during a time that tons of medications are being thrown at you. Chemo, anti-nausea, steroid, all of this stuff has side effects, and it's gonna cause you to not feel yourself and not feel good. So you want to bring in all these tips that I'm giving you to help you feel better naturally. So acupuncture was offered through the wellness center at my cancer center. It was in the cancer building. I went there, said, what services do you have? And they said acupuncture. So I asked more about that. They said, if you get it approved by your oncologist, you can have acupuncture done during your chemo session. Sign me up. My oncologist said, no problem. And a acupuncture specialist would come around, put me in that schedule for the day, and would put acupuncture in certain areas that could help prevent not only nausea, but neuropathy, which is a big side effect of chemo. Neuropathy is tingling or pain or numbness in your extremities, like your hands, your toes, your feet. It's something I didn't experience a lot at first, I believe, because I did chemo religiously during every session, but I did experience some of neuropathy after chemo. I think due to not keeping up with acupuncture after. So consider doing it during, if you can, in the session. If you can't see an acupuncturist that day or the next day to help with these side effects. And I would recommend continuing acupuncture for probably a month after you stop chemo. That's not something I did, but I would recommend it. My next point kind of spins off of acupuncture, which is if you don't like the idea of more needles, which I get because you have tons of needles coming at you during this time, is to just consider acupressure. This is something anybody can do. Acupressure is typically done with the wrists to help with nausea. So I'm going to link down below the wristbands that I wore to chemo, and I continue to wear all of that day after chemo and then remove them. This will help possibly with any nausea you might get as a side effect. And my next point is to rest after chemo. This sounds obvious, but honestly, the first time I had chemo, I got home and I had a little bit of a buzz probably from all of the medication in my body, and I decided to clean my whole place. I mean, I was vacuuming, I was dusting, when I probably should have just been laying and resting. So give yourself permission to rest. It is so important right now. It's important to let your body heal. It's what your body needs to do, so let it happen. I'm giving you that permission. My last point for you is to go for a walk the day after your chemo session. So if your chemo's on a Friday, like mine was, make a point the next day to get outside. First of all, I highly believe in nature being healing. Getting outside and seeing the sky, smelling the fresh air is gonna just help you feel good. Go at your pace, fast or slow, but walking is also gonna help your metabolism continue to process this chemo through your body, I believe. Besides the chemo, you have other medications in your body that are also gonna cause side effects like constipation and bloating, and they're really unpleasant. So I believe with walking, it's just gonna help you process and feel better physically. Now, that's all my points for you on my chemo hacks. These are tangible things that I did to help me physically feel better during cancer. That being said, I'm not a medical professional. I'm just somebody that has survived breast cancer, and not only survived breast cancer, but 1 year after my diagnosis, I ran the Boston Marathon. So I have more videos and tips coming at you if you are an active person wanting to be active during and after cancer. You can do it, and I will help you get there. Thank you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I have more content coming for you. I'm so excited.